There is a quiet danger humming under the surface of the podcast world, and you might already be caught in it without realizing. It's not always about someone else owning your show's name. The bigger threat, the one that ruins far more podcasts and deflates so many spirits, is losing control of your name because it isn't protected. And then other creators start releasing shows with names that look like yours, sound like yours, or are close enough to confuse listeners and platforms. That's when things really start to unravel. Your audience searches for your show and finds theirs. Your SEO gets diluted. Your chart rankings drop. Your discoverability collapses. Your brand gets tangled and intertwined up with someone else's. And if theirs is a low quality show, your brand gets tarnished by that. And by the time you notice what's happening, it's often too late to undo the damage. So today, I'm going to show you why creators accidentally lose control of their show names, some real cases where name confusion wrecked a podcast's growth, and the simple steps that you can take to make sure your show's distinctive name never gets hijacked. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and I help creators to protect what they're building before someone else rides on their momentum. So let's get into how podcasters lose control of their show names. The part most creators never think about, losing control of your show's name. It doesn't usually happen because someone storms in and steals it. It happens because you never locked it down in the first place. And that opens the door for look-alike shows, sound-alike shows, title swaps and rearrangements, creators borrowing your vibe, unintentional confusion that spreads across Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and suddenly your audience is fragmenting, your downloads dip, your growth slows, your brand equity evaporates. Legally, if you didn't protect your name, there might be nothing you could do to stop it. So let's get into and look at some real-world cases of name conflict and confusion, grounding this in some real examples. First off, let's talk about John Lee Dumas, one of the biggest names in podcasting. He had to rebrand from the show title Entrepreneur on Fire to EO Fire, not because he intended to infringe, but because the name wasn't fully under his control and because it conflicted with a long-standing publication's trademark. Pat Flynn faced a similar issue, not with a podcast title, but with his course name that included the protected brand LEED for LEED certification. He didn't mean any harm, but the name wasn't his to use and he had to change it. And then there are all the unnamed cases, the podcasters who reach out saying, hey, I don't get it. My downloads dropped. People keep tagging the wrong show. There's a new podcast with a name almost identical to mine, or my show isn't coming up in search like it used to. This kind of marketplace confusion is brutal. It doesn't announce itself. It just slowly erodes the brand momentum that you've been working so hard to build. And once that confusion takes hold, rebranding often becomes the only practical way out. So now I have a quick question for you. Are you absolutely certain that your show's name is fully protected? Or is it one of those things that you've always meant to check on, but haven't gotten around to doing? Well, hang with me because in the next segment, I'm going to give you the simple test that you can use today to see whether your show name is at risk. So let's get back into things. That simple name safety test for podcasters is this. It's a quick way to tell whether your show name is safe or exposed. Just ask yourself 3 questions. Is anyone else using a name that looks or sounds similar to mine? Search on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. Swap the words around. Try some misspellings. Try synonyms. If you're finding any matches that seem close, that is a danger sign. Next question. Have I checked for pending or registered trademark applications? Not just exact matches, but confusingly similar names count also. Class 41 is the big one for entertainment services, and Class 9 is the big one for downloadable media. Now, have I actually filed a trademark? This is your third question. Have I actually filed a trademark application? Because until you do, you don't really own your show's name. Now, if you answered no to any of these questions, well, your name is vulnerable. And by the way, you should do this kind of inquiry before choosing a new title for your show if you're just launching or rebranding. All right, so segment 4, why trademarks matter for podcasters. Well, this is a thing that matters so much because a registered trademark gives you exclusive rights to your show's name within your category, the ability to stop confusingly similar names with as simple as an email or a letter, leverage with platforms brand security when you scale or syndicate, and protection if you sell or your show or build a network. And most importantly, it keeps you from losing control of your identity as your audience grows. Because the more successful you are, the more attractive your name will become to others. So, what to do next? If your show name is important to you, and if you care about your brand, your discoverability, and your long-term growth, don't leave it exposed. Do that search. Check those filings, and if you're serious about protecting your show, consider filing a trademark so you actually own the name you're building on. And I can help you with all of those if you just reach out to me. Okay, if you're ready to protect your podcast and avoid costly mistakes, join the waitlist for my upcoming free legal training for podcasters. You'll learn how to secure your show legally, to avoid common pitfalls, and protect yourself without spending a fortune on lawyers. So join the waitlist now. It's over at podcastlaw.net. And if you want to connect with other serious podcasters, producers, and creators, we have a free community over at legitpodcastpro.com. So I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer. Thanks for watching. And before you publish your next episode, please make sure you don't get hijacked, do the search, that kind of stuff, and I'll see you next time.